When we think about how our world is connected, our minds probably jump to things like the internet or maybe airplanes. But the real workhorse of global trade, this kind of invisible giant that moves pretty much everything we own, actually travels by sea. And right now, that invisible giant is going through a massive, radical transformation. So let's dive into the incredible story of how this entire industry is being reinvented. Just take a look at this number, 90%. That is the absolutely staggering percentage of all international trade that travels on the water. Seriously, from the phone you're holding to the car you drive, chances are it's spent a good amount of time on a cargo ship. While we might see, say, 15,000 planes in the sky at any given moment, there are over 38,000 massive cargo ships navigating our oceans right now. You see, for decades, the race in the shipping world was pretty simple. Just build them bigger. But we've kind of hit a wall. Ships can't get much larger without being totally unable to pass through critical routes like the Suez or Panama canals. So the whole competition has shifted. The new race isn't about size anymore. It's about building smarter, more efficient, and much, much cleaner ships. So here's how we're going to break down this incredible story. We'll explore the new world these ships are creating. We'll look at the blueprint for an absolute behemoth, understand the genius of how it's built in pieces, discover the giant's heart that powers it all, watch it go from raw steel to the open sea, and finally, just appreciate it as a true masterpiece of human ingenuity. Okay, so it all kicks off with this massive challenge from a French shipping company, CMA CGM. And they didn't just want to build a new ship, they wanted to start a full-blown revolution in an industry that's been around for centuries. Their goal was, well, incredibly audacious. The challenge was really two big things rolled into one. First, they had to build 9 of the world's biggest container ships. Easy enough, right? Well, second, they had to make them the most eco-friendly ever by powering them with clean, liquefied natural gas, or LNG. But here's the real catch. They had to do it all in a record-breaking 2 years. That's a time frame most people in the industry would have just called impossible. Before we get into how on earth they pulled this off, let's just take a second to really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the vessel we're talking about. I mean, the numbers are genuinely, truly mind-boggling. 400 meters long. To put that into perspective for you, just imagine laying 4 professional football fields end to end. This ship is actually longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. It is an absolute monster. And what about its weight? Well, even when it's completely empty, it weighs 70,000 tons. That's the same as 7 Eiffel Towers, or if you prefer, about 11,500 African elephants. And that's all before a single piece of cargo is even loaded onto it. So what can it carry? The ship has a capacity for an unbelievable 23,112 standard shipping containers. If you were to line all of those containers up just one after another, that line would stretch for 150 kilometers. It's just incredible. So how do you build 9 of these giants in just 2 years, when a single ship normally takes 18 months to build? Well, the answer is in this absolutely brilliant manufacturing strategy. You don't build one ship at a time, you build it in massive prefabricated pieces. The process itself is just ingenious. First, they use a laser that's heated to 18,000 degrees Celsius, that's 3 times hotter than the surface of the sun, to cut through steel like it's butter. These huge sheets are then assembled into giant sections they call blocks. But here's the real genius part. These blocks are pre-fitted with all the wiring and pipes before they're even joined together. Finally, these giant multi-story blocks are welded together with absolute millimeter-perfect precision. And the amount of welding required, it's astronomical. The total length of welding on just a single ship is 1,250 kilometers. To give you an idea, that's like drawing a line from Karachi all the way to Lahore. And every single inch of that weld has to be perfect to handle the brutal forces of the open ocean. So building fast was one massive challenge, but building clean was the other. This meant they had to ditch the traditional heavy, dirty fuels. The solution is the ship's revolutionary heart, its liquefied natural gas fuel system. And the reason LNG is such a game changer is crystal clear. When you compare it to traditional marine fuel, LNG puts out 99% less sulfur, it creates 91% less air pollution, and it cuts carbon dioxide emissions by a solid 20%. This is a massive, massive leap forward for cleaner shipping. But there's a huge technical hurdle. To keep natural gas in its liquid form, you have to store it at an incredibly cold, -161 degrees Celsius. If it warms up even a little bit, it turns back into a gas, expands, and, well, game over.
So, to solve this problem, engineers had to design and build what is basically the world's largest thermos. This enormous 18,600 cubic meter fuel tank can hold enough fuel to get all the way from Asia to Europe and back again. We're talking about a volume that's equivalent to 6 Olympic-sized swimming pools, all kept perfectly insulated and unimaginably cold.
All right, so with the modular hull all constructed and the revolutionary fuel system designed, the next stage is to bring all of these massive, innovative components together to finally create the ship. And the scale of these components is just as impressive as the ship itself. The engine stands 6 stories high and cranks out 85,000 horsepower. The propeller, cast in a single 92-ton piece, is as tall as a 3-story building. It takes 1 million liters of special paint just to protect the hull, which covers an area twice the size of Vatican City. And way up at the top, you have the command bridge, the ship's brain, which features a cool smart eyes system that gives the captain a complete 360-degree view of this 400-meter-long giant.
So after all of this groundbreaking engineering and this absolutely monumental effort, did they actually meet that impossible deadline? Well, the result is a true masterpiece of human ingenuity.
So how did the timeline actually play out? The project starts in just 1.5 years. And remember, that's the normal time it takes to build one ship. The very first vessel is complete. It then goes on to pass 15 days of grueling sea trials with flying colors. And incredibly, within that original 2-year deadline, all 9 revolutionary ships are delivered. They actually won the race against time. You know, when it comes right down to it, this isn't just a story about a mountain of steel. It's a testament to what people can do when they work together. It's the story of the intelligence, the precision, and the tireless, round-the-clock effort of 6,000 workers from all over the world, all coming together to achieve something truly extraordinary. These megaships really prove that when we push the absolute limits of engineering and collaborate on a massive scale, we can make mountains of steel move across oceans more cleanly than ever before. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other impossibilities can we make possible?